That's what we really need. So one of the things I did early on to sort of create this bond, because remember now, these teachers are coming from different places. There are some who've come from the two schools, and then there are some when I did have to actually bring in, but that didn't always have, even if they were in the same school, the relationship the way I wanted to see it in order so that our kids would prosper. So there's this activity I did where one person, I had the 3 pieces of yarn were the colors of the school, like purple, yellow, and white. So that one person, let me start from the beginning because I've done this thing and I know what I'm talking about, but you don't. So we have 2 circles. I create an inner circle and an outer circle. Now I had the people in the outer circle move clockwise. And I really had a setup. Some of this is a setup that you don't share, but I wanted particular people to be together. So I knew who I placed in the inner circle and I knew who I placed in the outer circle, and I matched them up. Then we go to our separate places after I've explained the directions. The directions are simple. One person holds the end of the yarn, those 3 strings. The other person is braiding those yarn, just braiding. Now that person's braiding, the person holding it is telling the story. Now, the question can be anything you want. Could be who helped you to make a decision to become an educator? It could be what are your greatest goals or aspirations as anything, what makes you think more about it could be any question. So in that, the braiding is happening, the story's being told, and there's a time, but I found myself here giving more of the time than I really had planned. It became a very emotional journey for a lot of different people. And so then the roles switch. The other person answers the same question while the person who spoke before is braiding this yarn. It then becomes that these 2 people are now buddies. They are to connect. You remember the phone a friend? Now you've got a friend to phone, a specific friend. So your job is now to support this person. Because remember, they are my greatest asset. I can't be everywhere all the time. So you give them what they need. You're giving them support. And describe support when you're doing it. That's what I always did. This is what support looks like. Because people will say, well, I don't feel like I have support. Well, what is it? You always be specific about what it is you're doing. So that was one way to bring